Welcome back, everyone, to LCS Challengers League, presented by Subway. What a game, number one, man. We got to see some very, very good highlights out of that one. I love the early game plays and punishes from Chad onto the flashes. And, of course, Toasty the Orianna.
The little 1v4 in there, that's pretty nice. I expect to see that in the Fear montage after a win. We were missing that from socials yesterday. They've been throwing up some I don't want to say degenerate stuff, but it's...
Zoomer.
Zoomer. Thank you, Eric. See,
Zoomer.
you put it so eloquently as a play-by-play. In fact, so so well with words. Me bad, me no good. We let you talk. Please pitch our next segment that I'm trying to get us to.
All right, our Subway best of three sidekick.
Update from me over here, man.
It's okay, Cubby. It's okay. I got you. We've had some wild games, man.
Yeah.
Getting into this one, I mean, champion picks that we want to see go through that might be a little bit spicy, that might be a little bit more quirky from either of these teams. Do you got any proposals, Cubby?
Well, the champ that I feel like everyone is just sleeping on because it's impossible to operate and is like actually just too good on paper, but no one actually wants to put the time in to play it, is Yorick. So I will not do everyone the justice of saying Yorick again in this, and instead I'm going to go for a champ that I feel like is slightly on the cusp of being played here and there, and one of the few people that actually plays it in the league is Onat, and that would be Victor. I'm still on the Victor train, especially with this Grasp and double health scaling runes emergence. Victor very much abuses that with a big health pool, so I like the Henri's Victor a lot.
Now I feel like I'm going to be basic as hell when it comes to this next call.
Victor is the most basic pick, Deserex. You
Yeah,
cannot get
but,
more
like,
basic than Victor. Me lane, me scale, me can't walk. That's Victor.
Well, we haven't seen him as much, so it's a little less basic now, you know?
Okay.
The one I want is still spicy in, like, the grand scheme of things, but when you think of Chad, it's really not. It's just a regular Chad champ, and we saw it as a ban last game. It's the Rengar, man.
All right, that's fair.
I don't think it's going to go through, more specifically because they just played Orianna, and I do know they like the Rengar paired with the Orianna more specifically. But I'm a fan, man. I just want to see Chad on some of the Rengars, the Kazakhs, the more wild assassination-y champs that he likes to play.
I mean, I like Chad's Viego. I will say both Rosethorn and Chad in this matchup. I expect to see Viego at some point, as both these players very good Viego players. But Xin was solid game one, even into the bear, as Chad was able to find a couple windows to punish, especially through the mid lane. And Toasty, man, he had a bit of a lead, and he really ran with it. I think it was a good look from Fear overall in game one. Gets to continue to see Lens and Daption perform this split. I think Daption got caught a little bit by the Talia here and there, but some of the engages, A, really strong, and B, the follow-up from Lens. I thought Lens had another really solid game on the Saya, so.
Let's pull up the champions that are going to be banned in this next game. It is Fearless Draft. So if a team plays a champ, that specific team cannot play it again, just to re-update you on what Fearless is. So this means not going to have the Orianna for Onat once again. Same thing with the Olaf. That killer combo that we had in the bottom lane for AOE, the Callista as well as the Renata won't be seeing the map. So definitely going to have a different look onto this one, as we are just getting word that the draft is ready. So let's head straight into that, Cubby.
Well, here we go. Hopping in. AOE on the red side yet again. Orianna, I expect to be banned away now from Fear. I think you have to ban Ori first 3 if you don't want to deal with it. I would respect Onat's Ori. I think that could be one of the changes that we see made going into this game.
Is Nico still global banned? Is that
no?
Nico's.
I think Nico's playable. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I know that we've seen a lot of Nico fall off. I mean, the other angle is like if you want to be super based as Fear, you just first pick Quay and you go from there. You know.
Yeah.
Either that or TF. I expect to see first picked.
The main reason I bring up the Nico is because that was kind of a Toasty special back in the Scouting Club Mines.
Actually, he drew bans for it yesterday. It's enabled. It was banned from him yesterday.
Okay.
So that's my bad.
So that could be a pretty big one. I mean, yeah. The best thing that we have from Toasty when it comes to being a player is his team fight ability. And Nico is great with the Pop Blossom and enabling Toasty to find these very big, impactful plays.
I think a lot of it's the angles that he's able to take. Definitely something that's very sound from Toasty. Moment, still see the ban focus continue to be mostly marksman based.
Oh, yeah.
As here comes the Ash ban, and do we see Hui be heavily contested by Fear, and maybe another early pick jungle. I mean, you can B1 Voldy. We haven't seen Voldy be B1'd yet, but Volibear is a champ that, like, you have some counters, but either way, you're still playing Volibear, and you're so damn strong for the first couple clears that it is a champ you're okay blinding.
So with that Ash ban, as you had alluded to moments ago, that leaves the Kalista up. Now, this was something that was played over by AOE. Wixie, very good at that champion. Not locked in just yet for Fear. They're just kind of dancing around. There's that Nico that was mentioned a little bit earlier. And that is going to be the lock-in. So Toasty going to be playing on the tried true Nico.
I mean, my head was in the right place in terms of, you know, picking an early mid laner. I think that Ori being taken away now, Onat's answer to this usually is Syndra. That is a champ that plays a little bit slower. Could enable Fear to make sure they can play quick. Also important to note, TF is up. And TF is something that if you get it on red side, you can flex for the entirety of draft. I'm not sure. Yeah. I expect most of the teams to be able to play it. Curious if we see that from AoE. Instead, it's going to be a Karma comp. So Shield's coming in some way, shape, or form. And if you pair that up with the Xin Zhao, that's a pretty strong mid-jungle duo if you do decide to put that Karma mid.
And that mid-jungle duo is going to be very strong, but it still has that benefit of being on the red side, which means you still can flex around. Yeah. You're not giving up too much information to Cincinnati Fear just yet. So if they do go for that mid-jungle, it still could be Karma support.
Maybe a Felios Milio here for Lens. I mean, I would really like that into a Xin. Just kind of try and catch him and go from there. Besides that, if you have Kalista, it can enable you to take some different supports. Given that it's blinded, I frankly expect this to be Nautilus for Daption. But I will say, the Nico Kalista is a thing. This was really being experimented with before Nico was disabled on 14.3. Yeah. So I would actually like it if we saw something that wasn't a support taken here by Fear, because you could preserve that Nico flex. But given that it is Toasty on the team and that Nautilus is up, it's going to be the Kalista Nautilus. We're going to know where everything is going as we get into the next phase of draft.
So that leaves the potentially the jungle on top over coming out for Cincinnati Fear. The return for AoE. Keep in mind he's still
Ezreal here. I mean, you could pick Ezreal.
Ezreal Karma's a very
You could shift it bot. It's something that Wixie does like. I was gonna talk about TF as well. Looks like it's gonna be TF. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Jax ban now coming out from Zamudo, as that is a matchup that it's doable in the TF. I think TF's really strong right now, so I think TF has advantage in most top lane matchups you're going to find. I expect it to be top, given just knowing what Zamudo can play historically, and we see Karma's in already. So option for it to be bot against Kalista, but not something I'm expecting, as that is a matchup where you can really get blown out of the water early in that Jax ban. More of a giveaway, it's going to be TF top.
As much as you have that flexibility, as you said, banning towards the top side, more than likely putting that TF into the top lane. Zamudo was definitely a very interesting top laner to see last season, because he gets out of pocket, at least when it comes to the meta, quite often. And one of the biggest issues I always had with Zamudo was his inability to kind of sync up with the rest of Wildcard when he was on that roster. I feel like TF is going to make it somewhat easier, since you do get the teleportation of the Destiny Gate, and just the sheer nature of this composition so far and its ability to go forward could help out to that regard.
Definitely something to look out for. Honestly, I'm interested to see how AoE plays around it. SRX is. We have seen, I mean, I think MU, they got the TF earlier in the day, and we saw Niles get pretty far behind in TF, at least in the laning phase, but then he really blew up the map as it kind of game evolved, right? And interested to see if Zamudo can do that as well, as is talking about how we kind of expected the TF to be top lane. Marksman lock-in would signal that, and Aphelios very good into Kalista in terms of controlling that lane. You also get support counterpick, and quite frankly, right now, something like a Braum looks quite appetizing. You can really peel back to that Xin, TF, and Aphelios, as Chad looking for picks to try and break this. Have to pick into the Wukong, which is quite strong. I think Volibear, there's a decent case for Volibear in this game. It's pretty bad in the Karma, but in everything else interacts decently well.
I'd really like the Wukong here. You get such a team fight presence the moment you grab the Wukong paired alongside with that Nico. On top of that, the Wukong doesn't have to worry too much about the Crescent Guard, because the Cyclone itself, you're usually in the face of the team, which means you're going to be in that. But this one's going to be a really weird situation. I mean, Philip can play it, so see if they go for this Volibear.
I think it's Wukong top from Philip. I mean, we saw the wrinkle yesterday. They played game 3 with that Orianna, Xayah, Rakan combo as a whole. Wow, they insta-locked Braum. I called out Braum. Yeah, Braum's really good this game. I really like AoE's draft. I think that their ability to walk backwards and play with the Braum TF Xin Zhao auto attacks with the Braum passive, they have to just survive Fear's initial engage and reset fights. I think that Karma, Mantra, E plus playing around Braum passive will make this game very difficult for Fear to play out. Fear does have a lot of early angles to hit, though, and they're going to need to hit them hard if they want to have a chance in this game, because this comp requires a lead early.
Thing is, I do think it's very capable for that lead to become a reality, based on, you know, you said you have to hit those angles and everything, but Toasty is very experienced at finding that type of route in. Same thing with Philip. And once we get into those fights that are going to exist around neutral objectives, such as the Dragon, such as the Rift Herald, that's where my worries kind of come in for AoE on how well they're able to defend both their front line, the members who are going forward like Rosethorn, as well as some of the positions you're going to have coming out from Philip trying to chase down the Aphelios.
Oh, see if that can come to fruition as we dive into game 2 here. Game 4 on the day, that's Rex. I've had fun casting with you today. I don't want this to end quite yet. You know, a 4-game day. It's not nearly as appealing for me. I'd rather see Fear get into the game 3 comfort zone that we'd love to see Fear in. And as Toasty says, it's probably good because we get more stage experience, but it's super omega stressful, in his words. Good old Zoomer language.
The Fear comfort zone, that did kind of get shattered very recently. There was the wildcard game. Wildcard got a 2-0 right there. That was the first time Fear hasn't gone to a game 3.
Yeah, wildcard kind of awoke from their slumber, which was good to see.
Well, that and they got Senna.
Yeah, Senna's pretty good. And their Senna comps are good. Especially when you have Doxa, you can play so many things.
Now, Fear, I mean, looking ahead for this match, you know, taking a win here is definitely pretty solid. I'm going to hold that thought because just looking at Chad and Philip, they're
good. Late invade. Yeah, it's a late invade. Toasty does have shove. That first Q missed. We're going to get Rosethorn, though, on this camp. And you cannot fight Volibear early, especially with Philip showing. So 2 games in a row where Philip has sacked his very early laning phase to actually help his jungler get a lead. And Zumudo does something nice. If we can hover over top lane real quick, shout out to Kai, our observer. He pulled the wave so that all the creeps focus down on one creep, and he's trying to deny melee XP from Philip. If we could click on Philip right now to see if he missed that creep or not, it is significant in this matchup. It looks like he did miss that first creep. So that's really nice from Zumudo. Seeing Philip pulling the wave like that and getting a little bit of an advantageous lane state for himself.
You're going to need whatever lead you can get over for the top side, and Zumudo, it's the small things that matter. We saw how much it really did add up in that game number 1 for the early game, so could have a similar situation now as an invade's coming out from Rosethorn, going to steal away the red buff from Chad, going a vertical route on the jungler.
Yeah, and Chad knows that he cannot contest this, so he's just going to go to his Raptors, but Rosethorn only gets 1 camp. So Chad, from this trade that Philip kind of opened up for him, he will be up 1 camp.
Turning back to his side of the jungle to go grab his blue buff. Chad skipping that for the time being until he heads over towards the top side of the map. Philip also trading out right now, as my eyes are definitely going to be pretty heavily towards the mid lane to see...
Really?
This is going to go down,
It's Nico Karma, brother. We're just going to clear waves.
Yeah, but it's still Toasty playing as Nico, man.
All right, that's fair. My eyes will be towards mid later on in this game to see if Karma is using the Mantra Ease instead of falling for the Mantra Q bait.
Yeah.
And also to see if Toasty can hit those big Pomp Blossoms, as we have really only seen Toasty between all the bans that he's been eating for Nico. We've only seen it once on the first series that he played, and he carried that game 3 pretty hard. So he destroyed that game 3.
Nasty.
Yeah. Fun fact, Nico is quite frequently banned against Fear. It is their 5th most popular ban, and that's not a champ that's exactly widely considered meta anymore. That's just Toasty eats those personally.
Toasty special. And still shoving the wave. Pathing for the junglers. I mean, Chad has pretty much ignored a lot of his bottom side, mostly through that invade.
Yeah, he's going to try and hit the respawn here. So this is dangerous. Rosethorn did already base. He's going to cycle out his Krugs. I think Chad's going for the Raptor respawn, and Rosethorn has the opportunity to potentially meet him there.
At the scrying plant for Chad. He's not going to pop it, so not just yet at least. Now going to use it to try and spot out where the golems are. Going down in the bottom lane as skirmishes break out across the map. Chad's forced to fight this one out. Here comes Toasty, gets the root onto Rosethorn. One more auto would finish him off. Toasty has to flash forward to get the first blood, but Onat will return it onto the jungler, and Zamudo's been able to roam out. Gold card lands right on the money, and Toasty will not be long for this world. Tries to play some shenanigans, gives them the emote on the way out. 2 kills for AOE.
They handed it over to Zamudo, too, as he's going to be late getting back to lane as he walked, and that's a great look coming out from AOE. Chad, again, contesting that Raptor camp that you killed first, that's quite common as Voldebear, because you are so strong here, but it's double buffs for Rosethorn. Chad's buffs have ran out. He took the red buff of Rosethorn early. That's gone, and then he hasn't taken his blue buff yet, so yeah, we're even on levels. Rosethorn gets the last auto there, gets some healing, which helps him live. Chad doesn't get double buffs. He falls immediately, and Toasty had to burn the flash clean that went up, so he's overextended. Zamudo runs him down with the Nas button and the Ghost running. Feeds the kill over to Zamudo. Good start for AoE.
Up Ghost, get down to the rest of the squad. I told you the action was going to be in mid, but no. To the side of that, Lens looking for the kill onto Breezy. Breezy will not burn down. Lens and Daption fall to about 300 health, and Wixie's looking pretty healthy. All the meanwhile, Chad is securing some of those Void Grubs. Rosethorn has been called bot.
It's really big that the AoE bot lane is able to live there. Rosethorn barely spotted. Daption and Lens will be a little bit wiser to it. Brom's still useful in this gank given his passive, as Daption gets caught, and Lens is going to let his support go down.
Fortune for Daption. Lens just has to bail out.
That hurts.
No
yeah,
real,
Onat was here too.
There.
I like this from AoE. This is team-wide from AoE. Onat dropping waves to make sure this hits. You have to funnel Wixie and Zinzao if you want to win this draft, and hope that TF's able to get ahead on his own. AoE doing a really nice job earlier hitting some of those win cons.
It's a great early game coming out from AoE so far. I mean, you're going to the places where you need to, and this is something that Rosethorn was kind of more known for when we've seen him in previous seasons, his early game planning. While it's not going the absolute best, he's still getting something from AoE that's actually pretty substantial right now.
Oh, I think it's all fine and dandy from Rosethorn. The recovery that Rosethorn had from that. I mean, Philip really took the time to set him behind. I think Rosethorn has recovered appropriately well. He has not been able to trade out a neutral objective yet, and I think that AoE, their next goal is maybe set their sights on this dragon, but given that it is a Voldy Callista comp, that's what AoE ran last game. We talked so much about how it was important they were hitting that early dragon timer around 5 minutes, and we're 7 minutes in, and Fear has yet to hit that themselves with the same comp in game 2, so another sign that AoE, things are going really well for them as they're setting up a wraparound on the bot side.
Going after this bot lane once more. There's no summoners for Lens. Daption forced to flash away. We'll be able to escape as Destiny Gate being used just to get back to lane over in the top side. Still instills a little bit of fear into Fear as AoE continue pressing the advantage.
And Chad's sacking the dragon. I mean, he's playing for himself. He is taking all the top camps against AoE. So early soul denied for Fear, and that's tough. I mean, this is a comp. These guys get outscaled this game pretty hard. So I think this is a really, really good start again for AoE. Really doing a nice job of hitting their win cons early.
Accelerating this game before Fear can even really get going, and this is going to give them a 1.1k gold lead. See Daption just kind of body blocking to make sure that Lens does complete that recall. That's
a good support right there, Just making sure that your marksman gets back at all
Not going to drop you like the Seal trophy.
That's a good callback. Daption threw that one down. That was pretty funny. We do have Rosethorn getting in and taking away the red buff from Chad, but that is in response to Chad taking the 3 topside camps, so we're all up for Rosethorn. And now Philip.
Philip Cyclone going to be used onto Zamudo. Zamudo's taking a lot of damage, but does get that gold card, which means he gets out of a bit of that damage from the Cyclone, has the Ghost on top of it, looks to return fire, and will not fall victim to the ganks of Chad.
It's not bad for Philip, though, because Zamudo doesn't have TP back. This wave will push back out, but that will save Philip a TP of his own, where he might be able to answer a TF play and a side lane later on, or, create an angle for himself with that Wukong ult. So I know they didn't get the kill there, but I think that's still okay that Chad was able to get those 3 camps and force Zamudo out. The biggest issue is that in all that, they just dropped the dragon. And I think that could really come back to bite Fear later on.
It's a bit of a timer, especially when you have the Callista. I mean, you want to be pushing for those dragons. You want to be finding your advantage out there.
No, I mean, it's all because you have the Callista, right?
Yeah.
This Aphelios is going to really start pushing Callista off the waves, as you can see Wixie going straight for what looks to be a potential Storm Razor coming out from him. And there are so many good gun setups that you have as Aphelios, especially with a Braum. I mean, if Braum tags anyone, your ability to just instantly find that stun, walk backwards, and then deliver back way more damage than what the other team can deal to you is big. And Wixie going to try and set that up now as Daption maybe forced off.
Roots Daption. Poke damage right now, as he will chase the bottom lane, and this is pretty devastating for Fear at the given moment. You want to lead as Callista, you want to dominate as Callista, and it's just not happening. Rosethorn into the mid lane. Damage just being chipped away at Toasty as Onat just gets control. Shoving in the wave. Chad still looking for an angle, but now a level down to Rosethorn.
You can see the mid jungle for Fear each down level. Breezy even made his way up here first. Daption was on the roam. Secondary grubs look to be controlled at the moment by AOE. And we'll see if Fear wants to fish, because Toasty could TP back, as we see Philip using his empowered TP now, and they could look for a big Pop Blossom, but at the moment, it looks like they're going to cede the power over to AoE, respecting the fact they're ahead right now.
I don't know, they're still kind of choking into this area. Chaz moving forward.
That's 2 taken, though. They don't have to take any more.
Right, Philip does have the Cyclone. He's looking for it. Gonna find that engage. Cyclone goes out. Knockups galore as Philip gets to the monkey business. Step charge gonna go in, and there's the Pop Blossom! Is it gonna be enough, though? The damage is not there. The crowd control was beautiful, but Fear just can't bring the fight. Philip forced to flash away. Gold card. 2 flashes from AoE just to make sure Fear is extra dead. And a Destiny Gate to secure the final nail in the coffin. Fear fall apart in the early game.
I really like this draft from AoE, and they're playing it out really well. We kind of started the day like, hey, what is the identity of this AoE squad? We don't really know yet. And this is definitely a different look, very Karma specific, but the way they're playing this out is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a huge Pop Blossom that hits, but the peel back from Breezy just buying so much time until Toasty can actually get in there. And then Onat, like, he's just able to kind of keep everyone alive. Zamudo's pumping out damage. The damage wasn't there. They needed the damage to come in from Lens or someone. This is a low damage team composition at the moment from Fear, as Wukong really needs to scale until his damage gets big. And between the exhaust on the Wukong and Karma keeping people alive and just the comp that he has right now, it's not even close to Fear getting through what AoE was thrown at them. So AoE kiting back there, even after the 4-man Pop Blossom. That was navigated really well, and AoE have a huge lead in this game where they scale very hard.
Dude, the Wombo combo was there. We got the crowd control, but we just don't have the damage right now. And they
need Lens to that fight. They want to take that, you know.
That is where AoE are just completely shining. And now look at where the gold is allocated. Onat 301. Zamudo, the bigger one you have to watch out for, 302. This early game is going AoE's way, and that's giving very few windows for Fear to find a comeback.
And this game is pretty easy for AoE to navigate. They just have to play around this Braum Karma. Like, wherever these two go, if AoE is stacked up, it's just auto attack whoever gets hit by Braum passive and speed up that Xin Zhao and make sure that Rosethorn's feeling safe in there. It's a really tough game to navigate if you are Fear. Now, some summoner spells were burned, and I think that removing Zamudo or Onat is going to be really important moving forward, because you got to push forward. That's an interesting take from Rosethorn.
There we go. Pop Blossom comes out. Rosethorn biting off more than he can chew. Will fall in the process. Actually, he's able to back up, and Rosethorn will be the one to claim the bear.
He knew, man. It's Karma's in. You just go in. That's the only answer. Rosethorn's in there. He's shielded up. The bear falls, and that's another dragon for AoE.
No play is a bad play when you got shields that big, and Rosethorn, he will survive and he will thrive. 4K lead now for AoE.
And this is getting to desperation mode if you are Cincy Fear. As Zamudo even able to threaten a third plate. As Philip.
He's going to take down Philip. He's going to take down Philip. Wait, Philip. Oh! Close one, but Zamudo.
It's kind of a remake angle if this were a scrim. Unfortunately, this is a stage game. We might get treated to some action as Len's Daption going in.
Daption leading charge, wants to find a hook, gets it on to Breezy. Chad's not far off, but neither is Rosethorn, and Daption in a bad way. Gets picked by the wind, becomes lightning. No audacious charge to follow. Attention onto Chad. Gets the stun onto Chad. Over the wall with Onat debuting to the fight in the bottom lane.
Oops.
It's a win. It's a dub for AOE. And Daption, there's nowhere to go but to the respawn. Lens abandons his support. And one more die for one more kill for AOE.
I mean, I think Fear really put themselves in a hole this game. Like, they took the Nico, the Callista, Nautilus, and I think that all these champs like have some power. Like, you have Wombo, but AoE, it took more shields than Peel. Like, they can walk backwards with the Karma, and I mean, once you get ahead with this comp, you're shielding a Xin Zhao that's super ahead. You have gold cards to hold everyone in place, and there isn't enough dogpile in the world to make sure that Fear can get in there and actually find wins. So, I mean, I had my wish early in this game, Desrex. I didn't want a 4-game day with you, man. We get a 5th one.
Oh. We get to enjoy our time together.
Over. I'm calling this one over, all right? We have history, especially with Fear, in calling games over, Desrex.
Cubby!
This one's over.
Cubby, don't do that.
No,
don't do that. It's going to be a 4-game day now.
No, it's over.
Okay. We'll see. If,
I'm confident in this one.
Oh no, here we go. Hot Blossom coming out from Toasty. Plays it a little bit sly. The lockdown is enough to grab the support of AoE. Depth charge lands onto Wixie, but he does put enough ground.
Step 1 to the game being over, right? The support falls. Of course.
You're cursing it so much right now, Cubby.
Yeah, I'm really playing with fire, but also my brain tells me that this game truly is just done and dusted in favor of AoE.
I do feel the same. I do feel the same, to be fair. I'm not gonna scratch you on that one.
Okay, so the true comeback mechanic here for Fear is that Philip gets so far ahead that like, they can nuke people out of the Nico ult. We're going to see a contest straight up. Good luck, Chad.
Yeah, Chad's going to go down. No other way about it. It's still an objective bounty that's going to be grabbed, but unfortunately you're losing your support. Zamudo's pressuring the bot lane, and more going the way of AoE. Philip has no choice but to run.
Toasty was forced out. Philip actually had to walk down and grab the Herald himself, so Shelly was secured. But Philip sneaking out of there. Gonna be tough. And Zamudo, all the while, forced Toasty out of bot lane and is just splitting to his heart's content.
This gold lead is growing so fast. This is 16 minutes in and we're 7K ahead.
It's a toughie. It's a Fear Game 3 special angle, you know? We play for content, and we respect that here at Challengers, you know? We need all the help we can get content-wise. Philip going in.
Doing this once more. Philip goes for Onat, takes a good chunk of his health, but now Rosethorn has been called over. Philip with the chase, tries to chase onto Onat, but as you said, the shields are just too big. Philip, one more route. Flash away from Onat. He will go dominating. He grabs another kill.
That's plus 220. That's a little bit under 300. That's about the most interesting thing there is to talk about right now. What's up with your life, Desrex?
I've gotten into painting minis.
Oh, all right. That's so a Hwei fan.
Yeah, basically just way real life, but nerf to oblivion.
Well, I hope you have as many options in terms of colors and paintbrushes as Hwei does in his kit.
I actually do. I bought like...
Well, I will compliment you for that. I complain about Hwei, but then I can be happy for you in this case. So it's like a win-win overall for everyone.
I bought a lot of paints, man. Just throwing that out there.
Nice. Well, good for you.
What about you? What's going on?
Got a new driver for my golf game. I'm not playing any better, unfortunately. We'll see if we hold on to the driver. There's a return policy. I got to take it to the range, but getting out once a week, good fun.
You playing with Dash?
Nah, I have tea times from a very, very special a friend that keeps on making me tea times that definitely deserves a big shout out just for doing the homework, because I've had to recently make tea times on my own, and in LA that's a pain in the ass. So shout out to Jat for always making tea times for us.
Toasty keeps trying it with this little minion sneak. It's always fun to see, because sometimes it works out in ways that you're not expecting. But now here comes the engage.
Rosethorn's
Should
in.
be AOE favored, because right now, looking for the retreat, it's going to be Cincinnati Fear. Fate's called, utilized. Toasty gets knocked up by the Glacial Fissure. Ooh, Winner's Bite's going to find the stun onto Chad. Chad looking for that retreat, has 200 health remaining, and Fear are able to back up to the safety of their tower. Philip goes forward. Ooh, might have looked for an angle on the Cyclone, but denied by Onat.
It's amazing how OP Karma looks when she gets ahead. Like, these empowered Qs and shields, it's like, holy crap, this champion's filthy. And then when Karma's behind, it's like, you're just useless. But Onat being the opposite of useless this game is quite useful. As Daption, that's Aftershock, and he's dead.
Yep.
Yeah, good
Down goes Daption, AOE. They're just pretty much
TP.
crossing their
That's a
T's,
deep
dotting
TP.
their Eyes.
Big
They-
TP coming in from Philip. I wonder if we can even get
Take
here
your base
AOE
before that
resets.
TP is completed, man.
Yeah. Hey, we gotta keep the action up here, Deserex. He's on a pink.
Let's fill up. Secret agent. Behind enemy lines. One man, one monkey. No damage.
Synergize. There is a bear. Bear is being chased. The monkey's not moving.
Wait.
Animal
that's-
Kingdom is not in sync.
Oh. Lions, tigers, bears, oh my. No reason to be afraid of them
Phil
anymore, but...
spotted.
Oh, here comes Philip. He's looking for Wixie.
Oh,
That's
no.
not happening. Oh, no. It's looking kind of disastrous. Still able to get the knockup, but gets chased down by the Destiny Gate. Pop Blossom's utilized, but again...
Oh, boy.
There's no damage. There's no chance. AOE are just going to stomp right through this game, man.
This game is a murder. I mean, I liked AOE's draft a lot, and there's a reason why. When you had some opportunities to win lanes in the draft for AOE, and when you do win lanes with things like Karma, Aphelios, Braum, Twisted Fate, you can't move against them. And we're seeing that come to fruition as AOE going to clean up their third Drake and keep on cruising to a game 3. It's an exciting series going to 3. A very non-exciting game. I mean, I like Secret Agent Philip. You know, good idea.
Liked. I think it should be past tense.
It was a good idea.
The late Secret Agent Philip.
Ah. We'll see if his clone can do more work.
There's no helping right now. You can clone out 5 more of you. 12k lead for AOE. That's something that's not going to get denied anytime soon. Anytime ever.
Well, you know, I on the bright side, Deserex, when I said this game was truly over, I didn't cast a person. I was correct. We had faith in ourselves. That's what matters. You always got to believe. They become champion. Now we got Driver Philip. And that Rift Herald is looking more like a secret agent as it drives. This thing is... It's returning to the spawn. It's going back to the homeland. Oh, no.
Oh, Philip, where are you going? No! What's going on, man? Philip trying to run away. It's just a monkey. And no monkey business allowed as AOE. Take him down.
He just wanted to take Shelly back to Shelly's spawn.
He's trying to return him to the wilderness. So caring.
Meanwhile, this caster minion strayed a little bit far into the wild.
Oh, here we go. Toasty comes in. 5-man Pop Blossom. It's still not going to be enough, though, Cubby. Look at the health bars. The Cincinnati Fear get obliterated. No wombo combo in the world is saving you from this lead.
See, fights like that are why FFing should be enabled in League of Legends. If you're hitting a 5-man Pop Blossom while they're on Baron and you can't win the fight or even take down a single member, that's when you FF. I hope the vibes are good over in the Fear camp, because we're having fun up here at least.
I think they are.
Yeah, AOE is
think
like,
they are.
guys, can we just get to game 3? Can we speed this up? Can we skip the break screen? Can they draft now? They could do draft like while in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say one of the most demoralizing things ever. So back in my heyday of competing for my collegiate squad, we ended up going up against a Michigan team that had Wardrium and Ryan Choi on it, like season 4. Ryan Choi was like the best Rengar player on the server. He played at top. And he was streaming our games against us, and he was playing Hearthstone while he was 10-0 against my top laner.
No.
Yes, he was tabbing between the game and Hearthstone. That's the most demoralizing thing. I feel like AOE can do that with the draft of the next game now.
Oh, yeah.
If they really wanted to, yeah.
Open up some Fortnite. Give a shout out to JoJo in the process.
Some Survivor IO, maybe. That's the best game in queue. That's... If you play Survivor IO and Q with your boys, then you are training for what the Summoner's Rift experience.
Well, let's go hard mode and play some Helldivers while doing this.
That takes a little bit too long. You know, it's a popular game, I'm sure. You should probably shut out Riot titles to play, but you can't do it if you're queued up for League, so I actually can't get in trouble for this, because we're queuing up for League during all this scenario.
Play Valorant.
See what I did there? No, you can't do Edge of Runeterra, maybe. That's... You do like the card games in queue.
All right.
AOE.
It's the final push, man. I mean, what else can you really do here for Cincinnati?
Let's continue the trend of one Baron to end. I know AOE broke it last game. They're trying to get back out. We've seen it all day. Maryville did it twice. AOE, they got the Baron and lost last game as they got wiped, but I think AOE could have put their little brother on the mouse and keyboard here and still win this one. I don't know about you.
Oh, Rosethorn just jumps in on Philip. Yeah, sorry. That's this is not your base. Doesn't belong to you. This is the red side of the map. Oh God. There's nothing to commentate here, Cubby. It's just a massacre. It's just bloody. It's just Fear getting absolutely roasted, man.
Add the stats, baby. AOE, they're going to be looking good after this game. Those KDA is going to be a little bit inflated. Because the Onak Karma went pretty hard. I mean, props to AOE. I think they played out their comp well. But once you get a lead with this comp, it can look like this. Fear tried to play early game. They got behind, and they got toasted and roasted.
Nexus Tower number 2 goes down. Cincinnati Fear, they fought hard in that game number 1. But in game 2, it's AOE dominating.
I mean, shout out to AOE for getting me a really quick and easy game to VOD review afterwards. Because I think that might be the first game that I don't review from Challengers all year to completion. I don't know if I have to for that one.
No. You still got to review it. Just review the draft and stop right there. Done.
No, we have to review. You know, we've watched done games to see if players can still find good angles. Toasty found a 5-man pop blossom, and it led to his own team being wiped. That's when science has gone too far, Desirux. That's when you get a little outlandish.
4-1 out for Cincinnati Fear in that game number 2. But don't lose hope on them.
Game 3.
Don't lose hope on them just yet.
They've only won series that have gone to 3 games, so...
It's Fear's time. We're going to throw it over to break when we return. Cincinnati Fear versus AOE game 3 will be just around the corner.
Introducing the new foot-long sidekicks at Subway. Try the warm and delicious foot-long cookie, foot-long pretzel, or foot-long churro.
With the spring regular season nearing its end, we got to talk most valuable prospect. And there's one player who has been a nightmare for his lane opponents, Scary Jerry. Now, this isn't 2023 Scary Jerry. The man has been constantly working his butt off to improve, and it shows massively in the stats. As of week 6, Scary Jerry currently leads the charts with a threatening 9.4 KDA. Him and Psycho put relentless pressure in the bot lane, so much so that Scary Jerry takes first blood in nearly half of his games. He's top of the board when it comes to average kills per game at 6.5, and he also averages the least deaths in the league. The kid has a lot to flex about, and he continues to flex on picks such as Varus, Lucian, and even a Pocket Draven. If you want bot lane brutality, keep an eye on Scary Jerry.
Quad has been a beast this split, and for me it's been all about aggression. It starts in the laning phase, where he's leading all mids in CS differential at 15 and experience differential at 15. Transitioning that to teamfights, he's leading the league in DPM. Quad is picking high damage champions, and he's playing forward, looking to be a playmaker. And as someone whose time in Korea was ruled by the narrative that he wasn't able to transition his scrim performance to the stage, we've seen nothing but Quad performing on stage this split, and that's why he's one of our frontrunners for most valuable prospect.
My early MVP nod for Spring Split is none other than Maryville University's jungler, UG. Not only has he exhibited an ability to execute high-level mechanics in tense situations, he is also exceptional at marking targets in fights and understanding what his role in said fights is. Couple that with his tenacious focus on getting his bot lane ahead, and UG has been a terror for NACL junglers to contain. Also, in case you're behind on the lore, he hails from Mongolia, and while living there, he hit challengers on the Chinese, Korean, and EU servers, before coming to NA and doing the same here, making him one of the only players ever to hit challenger in all 4 major servers.
Lastly, we have a bit of a dark horse candidate. There were a lot of questions around how well Shochi would perform on another team where he wasn't getting the same level of resources, because we've seen what he can do when he's allowed to be the star of the show. He gets kills and makes plays like no one's business. But this split, Shochi has nonetheless made great strides in terms of finding opportunities to play more different styles than he's used to, and he's played more games on Talia, Orianna, and Karma this split than any of his traditional carries. Yet, he's still finding moments to shine and constantly still looking for plays. If he can continue this style of growth where we know he can be a strong carry and is able to take a back seat, he will be able to find success on any LCS team in the future. Who do you think deserves to be Spring 2024's most valuable prospect? Let us know in Twitch chat and hit us up on Twitter at Path to LCS.